Here, it's crazy. Oh, we're live. Hey, everybody, this is Bradley Benner with Semantic Mastery. This is Hump Day Hangouts for March 21st, 2018. It looks like it's just Marco and I today because all of the other guys are traveling and out living the internet lifestyle while Marco and I here grinding away as usual. So what's up, Marco? How are you?
Yeah, call it living the life, right?
Yeah. It's awesome how everybody gets to go travel but me. No, I'm kidding. Well, you too, man. You've been stuck in Costa Rica forever because of your back issues.
Yep. It's still fucked up, guys. Yeah. Find me a new back. I need a back transplant.
I wonder how much those cost. Medical tourism, right? All right, yeah. All right, guys. Let's see. Because Adam's not here, and he's usually the one that drives this train wreck. We've just got a couple of announcements that we're going to get through, and then we'll go straight into content or answering questions today. So I know the first one we're going to talk about briefly is Local PR Pro. We're actually launching that like to the general public next week. I think Wednesday is the actual launch. So guys should be on the lookout for that. We put a lot of work into that. We did a pre-launch and a handful of people got in, very few actually, but the course has had a lot of additional content added and all that. And so we're going to do a proper launch next week. And there will be a graduated, like, you know, sale price, that kind of stuff. So guys, if you're interested in it at all, get on it early, because otherwise you're just going to spend more money, and no amount of whining is going to bring the price back down after it goes up, if that makes sense. So just to be, you know, give you guys a heads up, I would highly recommend, if it's something you're interested in getting or pursuing, then you check it out during the early launch special, which will only, you know, again, it's a graduated thing. I think it's 24 hours, and then, you know, 72 hours later goes up again, something like that. So all of that will come out in the emails that we send out, and we'll announce it again on Hump Day Hangouts next week. I think that's actually when we're launching it, is next week on Hump Day Hangouts. So be on the lookout for that.
With the caveat, right, that results can and do vary. Can you please tell them your success rate in getting into the 3-pack, please?
80%. 80% out of 15. So just to be 100% transparent, out of 15 properties that I applied these methods to over the course of about 5 to 6 months, 12 of them ended up in the 3-pack within 6 press releases, and various configurations too. Like I tested one-page websites. I tested so single-page landing page websites, no silo structure, no syndication network, no drive stack, no nothing. I even tried just a ClickFunnels landing page that had no business ranking at all, period, because it was literally just, you know, an opt-in video, an opt-in form, and a couple of bullet points, and that was it. And I was able to rank that. That was actually the first thing I applied it to, this press release strategy. And I was able to rank it in the 3-pack within 2 press releases. And I was absolutely floored by it. And then I also share in the training, and part of our marketing, one of the contractor marketing agency that we're building, we were attempting to sell a particular front-end product for a few months. We went through like 200 and some sales calls. And it was kind of a shitty offer, to be honest with you. And we only ended up making 3 sales. But out of those 3 sales, I applied the press release strategy, because that was part of the front end sale, or the front end product, excuse me. And so even though I wasn't promising to the contractors that I sold this front end product to that they were going to rank in the 3-pack, that was not part of the deal. The deal was to do a video for them in a press release. And the idea was that their video would rank for their brand name. So how hard is that, right? But it was to get them press too. And out of those 3, 2 of them with 1 press release landed in the 3-pack, and they're still there today. And this is months later. And so it's crazy. Like, so I tested all different kinds of configurations in some really uber competitive markets. I was not able to get into the 3-pack within 6 press releases. And I usually publish a press release every 2 weeks for these projects. So you're talking about 12 weeks total. I got 12 out of 15 in the 3-pack with 6 press releases or less. So 12 weeks or less. It's absolutely incredible. It works really, really well. And we go through the entire process and all the different configurations and what we call PR stacking and all these things. So again, great product, guys. If you're doing any sort of local stuff, highly recommend it, because it's like an unfair advantage for us. I mean, it's standard operating procedure for us, for me now, for all my local stuff. So. Okay, so what was the other thing we had to cover, Marco?
Born from that, we have another idea about, you know, local Google My Business Pro.
Oh yeah,
right. I think we should talk a little about that, about what, because we always have stuff coming down the pipeline. We always have these crazy ideas that sometimes turn into something and sometimes they don't. But this one is already tested. I mean, the theory is no longer theory, because it's tested and it works over and over, and it's working in hyper competitive markets. Personal injury attorney, New York. I can't. It's working in another major metropolitan area for plumber. I know that you're going to start testing it out in a local project that you have. I'm testing it out in something that I'm doing in Costa Rica, targeting the US market. So we're testing it in a whole bunch of different things, but the results that we keep seeing are just the same. It just flat out produces traffic. Whether it ranks or not it becomes irrelevant when you use this method. That's the crazy thing, that sometimes you won't even see it in the search trackers, but you'll see the results when the calls start coming in. They flooded with calls, with filling out the forms or whatever action it is that you're looking for people to take. It happens. And so that's coming down the pipeline, something to look forward to. Not to take away from local PR Pro. It works. If it just flat out works. But I think these two in conjunction, it's just going to be crazy.
Yeah.
How you can just dominate a local market, because nobody's doing the stuff that we do. Nobody.
And explain, I guess I'll jump in and explain very briefly the local GMB Pro, which is that'll be the next one after local PR Pro. And so it's in development right now. In fact, I started recording videos for that earlier this week, and I got a brand new client that I set up a brand new GMB listing. And I just that's the training that I started adding to the members area for that already, was just showing, hey, look, I just registered this GMB profile. I just got the verification card and all that. And so it's 100% brand new. And I'm going to apply only these methods for the GMB Pro course to it, because of the results that Marco and Rob have been able to achieve, which is crazy. And what's great about it is it's 100% in the Google My Business dashboard, guys. Don't even need an external website. You don't need anything other than just what's available, the tools that are made available to you in the Google My Business dashboard. So between local PR Pro and local GMB Pro, it's like you don't even need to worry about website SEO anymore. And what's great about it is like what Marco said, even though it might not show up in SERP trackers, if you look at the GMB Insights, which are like analytics for GMB, and if you go into your GMB dashboard, it gives you great analytics. It shows you the engagement level, how many times you appeared in search, the actions that were taken on the maps listing, like all that kind of stuff. And it's just crazy to see the results that they've been able to achieve. And so that's why I'm going to apply this strictly to this new customer or client of mine, excuse me, so that I can document the results without any external sources. It's just going to be within the GMB ecosystem, if that makes sense. So.
Yeah, I mean that's what's absolutely fabulous, because all of you people who worry about hats, I don't. I could give a crap about hats. I manipulate, and that's all I do all day long, 365. But for those people who are worried about hats, and if you want to go something that's totally Google approved, totally what Google wants you to do, it's what we're doing with local PR Pro. And then with the local GMB Pro, they go hand in hand, and it's nothing that you ever have to worry about getting penalized, because it's 100% Google approved, Google accepted, no terms of service violation in any type of way. So,
which is why it works so well, because you're giving Google you're using all of Google's tools that they provide. So it rewards you for it, and that's it's great, guys, and it's almost as if SEO is becoming easier. It may be getting harder to rank traditional websites sometimes, but for local stuff, man, I'm telling you, like we're in like a really good time right now for local, in my opinion. I'm seeing a lot of really good results. Some of the stuff that I've shared recently in Syndication Academy, like last month's update webinar. And then also in the mastermind, combined with some of the stuff we've shared in the mastermind recently, like my biggest tree service client right now, we've got like 14 locations for this one client or service provider. And like, we're not even really in spring yet here in Virginia, and we're getting absolutely hammered with calls. Like it's unbelievable. And it's just because of some of the stuff that we've applied. And so I'm really excited to see what we can do with just the GMB dashboard now, because think about that. If you don't have to worry about hosting and setting up websites and buying content and all that kind of crap to start new lead gen sites and just start getting traffic and generating leads, like that's a game changer, you know? So.
And before we get into questions, I have one more thing. Our subs for kids page was updated. I have a button on there that says donations at work. I'll drop it in. I'll drop the link. But if you click on the button on the subs for kids subdomain and semantic mastery, you'll see some of the things at work, right? What we've done. You'll see how happy the kids are. The supplies. It was a truckload of supplies. So nice. We have. It's updated, and then we received a really nice note from the people that were helping, or from the people that helped the people, and I think people will like to see this. I'll drop the link, but let's get into questions.
All right, I got one more. Guys, you know, if you've watched any of our videos for long, anytime that keywords come up or keyword research, we always just like literally fall all over ourselves talking about how awesome PowerSuggest Pro is. It's my favorite keyword tool. It has been ever since I got introduced to it. Justin Sardi actually introduced me to it, like, I don't know, 3 or 4 years ago now. And it's been my go-to keyword tool ever since. I love it because it doesn't give you a bunch of useless metrics that are usually wrong anyways, like competitive metrics and all that stuff that are, again, usually wrong. It's just great because it gives you keywords that are actively being searched for right now. That's why they're in auto suggest. And so, and it scrapes, it doesn't, like, it's not like a scraper. It's actually connected to the API. So it spits out the keywords incredibly fast. And I've never hit like an IP limiter or, you know, a request limit or anything like that. And I use it heavily all the time. Anyways, it's a fantastic product. It's a one-time fee for it. It's not a monthly or anything like that. Ted Chen is the developer. He's a good guy. Anyways, because we've promoted it so much for him and done really well. I mean, you know, we talk so well about it all the time. He gave us a special 15% off coupon. And again, it's only a one-time fee, guys. I think it's $57 normally. And we got a 15% off coupon. It's for a limited time. So if you guys don't have it, I would highly recommend that you go pick it up because, and I'm going to drop the link here on the page. Because again, 15% off of what's an inexpensive product that is incredibly powerful is just, it's a no-brainer. So I would highly recommend that you go pick it up. Okay.
Absolutely. It's our go-to money tool.
Without a doubt. Without a doubt. I love that tool, man. I'm not kidding. It's one of the best tools I've ever used. Like, I stopped all my, like, I've spent literally hundreds of dollars per month on keyword tools in the past. And I canceled all of that crap because I don't need it. You know, I just use, and I go through the same keyword research method that I've described at least a dozen times to our members, which is just starting with Google Trends. And then I might use the Google AdWords keyword planner just to get an idea of like what how much money is in a particular market by looking at like the average CPC, you know, metrics and things like that. But again, a lot of that stuff it's not SEO based, right? Those are AdWords. That's AdWords data. That's PPC data, not SEO data. So I might use it as kind of a reference, but it's not to take literally. Like, those are just to kind of get an idea of what the market looks like. And then I use PowerSuggest Pro to spit out all the keywords that I need, you know, for optimization for SEO purposes. And it's a fantastic. You can find some super long tail stuff that, because it's actually in Suggest, it's getting traffic. It wouldn't be in Suggest if it wasn't getting traffic. And so you can find just gems of, you know, long search query strings that you can actually optimize for, questions and things like that, which are great for the Hummingbird algorithm. And you can actually start optimizing for some of those questions with answers and get what they call the featured snippets, right? Which is position 0 in the SERPs, which is incredible. And so a lot of that stuff can be revealed to you using stuff like PowerSuggest Pro, which is, again, very inexpensive one-time fee. So hopefully Ted sees this. We should be his spokespeople.
Yeah.
All right, guys, I'm going to get into questions. I think that was
Love
it.
You, Ted.
All right. Okay. Let's go up one more. There we go. Andy, I already answered your question. I answered that last week when you posted it, so hopefully that's good. Okay, so Peter from Poland. What's up, Peter? He says, if I'm trying to rank a YouTube video for a physical product in a certain country, it doesn't matter if I upload or stream that video from that same country IP location. I used targeted views from that country using AdWords to try to rank it, but uploaded the video from another country and can't rank the video. Google just slaps me on the second page, even though there is no other videos on that product. Used both the live stream and an upload, and neither work. Videos are about 1:30 long with practically low or no competition. I use VPN to confirm the video is not on first page. YouTube ranking is not a problem, just on the first page as there is ads for that product. Do I need a longer video or some social shares? You know, that's a good question. That may be part of it, is uploading from an IP within the same country. You know, that may help. I don't know, honestly, because everything I ever do is in the US. So I can't speak for certain on that. However, that may be an issue. One thing you could do, though, is in your channel settings, make sure that you have your channel set for that country. So like if you go to your channel, drop down on the left-hand sidebar, and then you go to the settings, or, you know, whatever, advanced, I think it is, advanced settings maybe, you can set your country. And in fact, you know, most people don't know that. And a lot of the times the countries are by default set to Afghanistan when you when you create the account or the channel. And so, you know, I always go in and change it to United States. That's something that you should do as well. Change it to whatever your country it is that you're doing. Poland, I assume, but whatever. You know, so that's one thing I would do. Now, also keep in mind that there are just some search queries or keywords. You're saying it's a physical product. So I don't do physical product stuff. But I know, at least for like the type of stuff that I do, which is a lot of, you know, lead gen and stuff like that, there are certain queries that just are damn near impossible to rank a video for. And it just depends, guys. You know, it depends on what type of query it is. And there's categories of search queries too, right? There's informational queries, there's transactional or commercial queries. So my point is, depends on what type of category it is. With the physical product, I know a lot of people rank stuff for there. So unfortunately, like I said, I'm not, I don't do anything in e-com or physical products. So I don't really know, other than to say, trying an IP, if you could, locally or within that country that you're trying to rank it for, may help. Also, maybe changing the channel settings would help. Do you have any other thing for him?
No, because that's what I do. We've ranked in France, in Sweden, and in all over Latin America. We've ranked videos, and the exact thing that we do is what you mentioned. You have to set the country code, the language, because there's a setting for language also, and so you set those, and that plus having the country in the title, right? Physical product, and then country either in your playlist, in the channel, or however the description. That usually, all of that together sends the right signals and it gets it ranked. Now, if you're stuck on the second page and you can't move, it could just be like Bradley said, there's a filter for that video and it's not going to go past page 2.
It's a possibility. A couple other things I want to mention, though, Peter, that you can also try is, number one, YouTube Silo. So if you're not familiar with that, you can go to youtube.silo.academy and pick it up for $7. If you've ever purchased anything from us in the past, you should have access to a bonus site where you can get that for free. If you don't, reach out to us at support@semanticmastery.com. Tell them I told you to reach out to us, and we'll give you access to the bonus site anyways, to be honest with you, because it's in there, okay? Or you can just buy it for $7 and get the individual product. But I would highly recommend that you do that, because you can actually target long tail keywords, which, by the way, Power Suggest Pro is perfect for finding those long tail keywords to optimize to create a silo within YouTube. And YouTube silos are done via playlists. So that's something else you can do. And then lastly, last but not least, SERP baby. Go to SERP and use our video embed network, Video Powerhouse. It's, you know, now it's damn near it's 2 years old now, because I think we started building it around this time 2 years ago. So those networks now, guys, are aged, and we've got, I think, over 3,000 sites in there with syndication networks around them, and they're aged and themed and all of that. So I would highly recommend. I mean, it's really powerful now. It's taken some time to get there, but it's there.
The only thing is that we don't accept foreign language.
Well, forgive me for bringing it up then. Damn it. Sorry, Peter. Sorry, Peter. That's all right. You know what you could do possibly, though, is even do some English language stuff targeting the keywords that you could embed with the link. So if you're using a YouTube silo, for example, you could even target English keywords, which I'm not sure which language you're targeting, because you didn't mention it. So I'm not sure if Power Suggest Pro would be able to spit out keywords from that particular language. However, you could still do research and target English keywords, and then create a silo and use videos that are still in that keyword set, that silo, and then just use each one of the videos that you create within the silo to have an internal link within the video description, as well as the comments underneath, guys. And by the way, this is something that's relatively new, since a new feature since YouTube Silo Academy was recorded, which was several years ago now. But you can pin comments, right? So underneath, not only should you put your primary video URL in the video description of all your silo videos, so that basically you're building relevancy up to the one video that you're trying to rank, plus they're all going to be in a playlist, which is like a container, right? And that's how you silo them together. But then lastly, go on underneath and the video and add a comment with a link to your video, and then pin that comment, because those are do follow links. Internal links from within comments to other YouTube stuff is do follow links. So I would highly recommend that you do that and pin those comments on those too, because then also if you get any traffic to those videos, people will see that link and will likely click on it in the comment section, and that's another engagement signal. Right? And those are engagement signals that you can generate just from other videos that are related or similar in theme, if that makes sense. So I just gave you a lot that you can do right there, Peter. All right. And then for those English language videos that you could use within the silo, you could use Video Powerhouse to power those up. And remember, with your video links embedded in the description, as well as in the pinned comment link, if you're embedding those videos via Video Powerhouse, you're going to start feeding juice and relevancy into those videos, which will pass through those links up to the video that you're trying to rank. All right. Very powerful strategy. Mohammed's up. What's up, buddy? He says, hey guys, I know we can't guarantee rankings, but what can I count as deliverables in my control? There are lots of things I can think of, like press releases and RYS stacks, but I keep getting nervous that I either won't explain them well or the client will take the name and find somewhere else to do it. Is this just paranoia? Yeah, kind of, Mohammed, because here's the thing. Like, why would you give up? Why would you explain to your clients exactly what you do? Like, my point is, like, it's kind of a proprietary method. I mean, I would talk about it conceptually, but I wouldn't, mention, again, I found when I start trying to tell people what RYS stacks are and syndication networks, like, I try to dumb it down as much as possible, because otherwise their eyes glaze over and they don't know what the hell I'm talking about, and it's just confusing to them. And so I just always, again, promise, like, I tell them what I can produce as far as results. And then, again, it's like if you go, if somebody's like McDonald's, are they going to tell you the ingredients of their secret sauce for Big Macs? No, but you still go and buy Big Macs, right? I mean, you get what I'm saying. My point is if it's I wouldn't share too much, and it sounds like you're trying to share too much. I do think you're a bit paranoid too, though, because a lot of times people wouldn't even be talking to you if they were going to go out and do it on their own. And if they are those type of people that will get a little bit of information from you and then run with it on their own, then they would have been shitty clients anyways. You know what I mean? Because they would have dropped you at the first opportunity to do so, or the first time you got them some results. And I've had that happen in the past. So I know you're struggling getting clients, man. I think you're just in a tough industry, but if you keep at it, pursue it long enough, you'll be able to crack it. All right. So again, I talk about like activity-based stuff. That's why I love content marketing as part of my SEO services, guys. And now that includes press releases now. And now also I do videos for all my clients too. So like I do content in 3 forms. We do blogging, which is curated blog posts, which I have a team of VAs that does that for me, so I don't even do it anymore, which goes across their syndication network. I do try to explain the importance of having a presence on all the syndication network properties and content marketing, which automates the updating of those social profiles, right? And talk about how it can generate traffic and interest and all of that stuff. So we do curated blog posts, which is just part of my overall SEO package. There is no option to not do curated blog posts. If somebody's hiring me for SEO, they're getting a syndication network that they're paying for. They're getting curated posts done. Even if it's just once a week or once every other week, they're still getting posts. And we also do, and now standard operating procedures, I have press release added into the mix, depending on what level of client they are, like what level of services they're subscribed to from me. They may get 1 press release per month. They might get 2. I don't really have any clients that are doing more than 2, but I also do 1 video per month now per client, at least 1 video, right? And so again, that's all content marketing stuff that can be set up. And those are activity-based things. They're not results-based. They're activity-based things that you can promise and provide as deliverables and report on every month that will produce results. Does that make sense? So that's the way I always talk about it. Like, here's the things that we're going to provide on a monthly basis. And for local SEO clients, I always talk about citations, like business directory listings being built, and things like that. So that, again, it's always about just showing them what is being done and stuff that I can report to show them. And again, I use Bright Local for all my reporting, and I have been ever since I opened my agency back in 2012. I love Bright Local. It's inexpensive. And I do all of my reporting there, which is great because it shows, keyword tracking, rank tracking. It also shows citation building. So you can like show that over time, how many citations you're building. And remember, guys, content marketing will also show up as citations as long as you're including NAP in your content. So I don't mean just building business directory listings. I'm talking about press releases, blog posts, videos, all those things together will end up showing up as citations. So you can really show a lot of growth in that department. Okay. Good question, Mohammed. The second one is, what's the best way to get through to a lead that's interested but too cautious after being burned in the past by incompetent SEOs? It's one guy's close to a sale, but there's still that factor holding him back. I want to show him I'm clean, and I've provided references as well. I don't want to start pleading. What should I do? Okay, I've actually run into that too throughout my career, and the only way that I've been able to get over that is to do, and I know some people are going to puke when I say this, but it's to do something for free to prove results. And I know a lot of people don't like to do that, but I don't mind doing it if I'm close enough to a client and I feel good about that client. I got a warm and fuzzy about them, but they're just not over the fence yet. Then I might do something. And again, guys, video marketing is my go-to for all of this. For all foot in the door strategies, it's always video marketing because it's so easy to do, right? And so, it used to just be SEO spam, right? Like video spam that I would do to push a client over the fence to want to purchase or to subscribe to my services so that I could close them basically. But now I'm doing a lot of video ad stuff too, because I can set it up really quickly and I know I can get results from it, right? Because YouTube ads are so inexpensive and they're so easy to set up, man. And so, you can do one or both. You can even, the only thing I would say about doing something free for a client is that if you don't want to spend money on AdWords, but you could set up some video spam stuff and produce results for them and say, look, this is what I did for you. So, to prove to you that I'm and that's what you could say is, look, you could even say that to him before you even do it. Hey, I'm going to do this for you. And just tell them, something that you're going to do. I'm going to rank some videos for you for some keywords or whatever. And then say, and I'm going to do this to prove to you that I know what I'm doing so that I can earn your business, right? When you're candid with a potential prospect, that's how you start to show them this guy's genuine. He's going to do this. He even told me his intention. He's going to do this for me to earn my trust and to earn my business. That's rare, right? And that's worked really well for me. Again, I know some people are going to say, don't do anything for free. Well, that's fine. Listen to whoever you want to listen to. I'm just saying for me, it's worked really well.
I have just two things, and I agree. If it's that close, just make sure that you rank the video on your own asset.
Oh, he knows that.
on the client's asset, so that you control the video, so that if you end up not closing the client, you still have a video that you can show another prospect.
Yep.
And then one thing that you can tell the client is instead of going through everything, this whole big explanation, and once you're at this long enough, it'll become second nature. Just tell the client that everything you do is going to get their message in front of the people who are looking for the product or service that your client is providing in this case, right? So it becomes performance based, and you let them know, look, we're not going to sign contracts. I'm going to produce results. You're going to see them. You're going to see them in phone calls. You're going to see them in contact, whatever the action is that you want taken. And if that doesn't happen, then you're free to walk away. What I do recommend is that you give me at least 3 months to get all of this going. Now, if you're if you close and you're running AdWords, you're doing YouTube ads, you're running Facebook ads, it should be immediate. Yeah. And the guy's gonna say, well, he said 3 months, but I'm seeing results right now. So now you're building a relationship, you're building trust. It's like building trust and authority with Google, right? You need to do the same thing with the client. But you ask for 3 months in case you run into, because you're in a hard niche. And so you might need that extra leeway, right? But you still be able to show results if you're doing these pay-per-click strategies, right?
Yeah.
If you're using ads, if you're running ads, you should be able to show results, and then you can move on from there.
That's it. Awesome. Nigel's up. What's up, buddy? He's here almost every week. He said attended last week, but got in too late with my questions. Ghost browser recommendation was awesome. Pairing well with IFTT and battle plan so far. Well, good. He says, what are best practices for YouTube channel basic setup? Just trying to avoid any major pitfalls and newbie mistakes, i.e. issues that could lead to a ban that are best avoided. Any quality links, tutorials would be great. You know, I recorded a training program called YouTube Mastery, again, several years ago, around similar to the time that I recorded the YouTube Silo Academy. You'll know it because if you see that any of the training, if my face is any of it, and I was 100 pounds heavier then, so it's actually quite embarrassing now. I thought about just terminating those two training products, but they're good products still. But YouTube Mastery, that basically is how to go through and set up that. It's dated in the fact that the interface has changed, but the principles behind channel optimization have not changed. It's still the same today as it was 4 years ago, 5 years ago. You know, there are certainly some new features and things like that, but really as far as channel optimization, that's pretty basic. I mean, those are like one of those things that are timeless almost, right? And so I don't know for sure off the top of my head, Nigel, if in the bonus site that I've just mentioned earlier on today's Hump Day Hangout, if YouTube Mastery is in there. I think it is, but I'm not 100% sure. So I'm assuming, Nigel, because you're here all the time, that you've probably purchased something from us in the past, which means you probably have access to the bonus site. So go check it out. And, you know, let me know if you don't see it in there. And if not, then, you know, we'll work something out, because it's not really a product that we sell anymore. It's like I said, it's rather dated and it doesn't just fit into our overall stuff, but it is still valuable in that it will show you how to optimize both your channel as well as do on-page and off-page optimization for individual videos. And again, all that, the stuff that's all taught in there is timeless. Like that stuff has not changed at all. There are certainly new tricks up our sleeves that we can add into the mix. But as far as like just a good foundation to start with for YouTube marketing of any kind, specifically with SEO, it's a really good product. So again, check to see if you have our bonus site. If you don't, reach out at support@semanticmastery.com. We'll get you access to it. Tell them I told you to do so. And then, you know, I'll double check and see if it's in there. And if it's not in there, maybe I'll just add the damn thing in there, because again, it's one of the products we don't sell, but it is really high value in that it will show you how to optimize YouTube channels as well as individual videos. Okay. What is the proper balance between curation and original content and ratio of content with money hooks versus just informational content? The second part of the question, I really can't answer. I don't know, because I don't really get that granular on it. Typically with content marketing guys and curating, I use that as a link building tactic for promoting pages on the site. I mean, again, you guys know I pretty much primarily do local. I very rarely do any affiliate marketing at all anymore, because just local is just crushing it for me right now. So I use the blogging and the syndication networks to link with contextual links from the blog posts up to the pages that I'm trying to rank to generate traffic, right? Does that make sense? So I really don't care about the money hooks versus the informational content, because I'm not usually trying to push people from a post to anything other than a page, because I'm trying to generate a lead, really, if that makes sense. But as far as the proper balance between curation and original content, I use original content for pages on the site, but for posts, it's pretty much all curated. And as far as the ratio there, it's pretty much like 80% curated and like maybe 20% text, which is called commentary on a curated post, right? You go in and basically you have an opening, and then you start to you add your snippet of curated content. Then you might comment on that, and then you comment on the next piece that you're going to introduce into that post, right? And I always recommend at least two, preferably 3 pieces of curated content per post, and multimedia if possible. So like curate perhaps an image or an infographic, a slideshow, a video, an audio, you know, like an embedded MP3 player, you know, anything like that, that you not just text all the time. I mean, sometimes you're going to have posts that are just text. That's curated text, and that's fine. But if you can find, and again, all of this stuff is taught in curation. It used to be called Curation Mastery, but now it's Content Kingpin. So Nigel, if you don't have that and you're doing content marketing for your own projects or for clients, I highly recommend that you pick up Content Kingpin, because like literally that will show you how to do all of it properly and actually how to outsource all of it so that you don't have to do it. Right. And again, guys, I mentioned this earlier, like that is, it's a non-negotiable with my SEO clients. They are getting curated posts done. Blogging is part of my SEO packages. And why? Because it's a recurring service. It's an activity-based service, not a results-based service. And it's something that I have 100% outsourced. So it's like I make good money off of my content marketing service because it's, you know, it's something that just takes a very minimal amount of management. And my curators have just been with me for years now. So it's something that you can build into your business. And I highly recommend that you do. It's hands-free content marketing. That's actually the tagline of Content Kingpin. Okay. Good question though. All right. Next, Gordon. Wow, Gordon, that's a lot. We might have to come back to it.
Let's answer one and then come back if we have time.
That's a lot. Let's see. Hi, guys. Thank you very much again for all the help you provide. Is genuinely appreciated. Okay. Well, now that he buttered me up, no, I'm kidding. Time ran out last week before you were able to get to me, so I'm reposting the same thing. Okay. Can you help me please with the following? If I buy expired age domain with content and or links related to my local lead gen site's niche and leave it parked with the domain registrar and 301 redirected to my lead gen site, is it just providing the benefits of the metrics for its core domain, meaning its original homepage, or do the interpage metrics form part of the SEO juice I get for my site just by redirecting the domain? Okay. That's a good question. If you're just doing a redirect from the registrar, there's a couple things I would recommend that you double check on. Some of the registrars, when you do a redirect, they'll come up as 302 redirects. So you got to be careful with that if you're going to do it. I always recommend that you actually point the domain to a server and do a redirect from cPanel or from htaccess. Like you could even, but you know, typically if you want, you can just do a redirect from the server. So you can actually point it to one of your hosting accounts. And then, so set the name servers to your hosting account and then go into cPanel and just use the redirect option to set a redirect back. Cause then you can set a wildcard redirect which is like basically a slash with an asterisk. And that will allow like all internal pages. And you can also set up via htaccess. And I think you can do subdomain redirects with wildcards as well. So my point is you can do it that way to where I know that all internal pages from the domain that you were redirecting will automatically redirect to the root, which then is redirected to whatever you're pointing at. And so, yes, all of the inbound links to that domain that are being redirected to all the individual pages will all basically concentrate, to the root, which is then redirected to whatever you want. Now, if you're trying to like redirect certain pages to other things, then no, you'd actually have to install it somewhere and then point it to your host, for example, and then set up individual page by page redirects via htaccess, or you can install WordPress and do it, with like a plugin, like Simple 301 Redirects plugin. I've been known to do that many, many times just because of its ease. I don't like to mess in htaccess. Usually if I've got a bunch of htaccess stuff to do, I'll contact the host and have them do it because it's going to vary depending on which host, what the directive types are. I run into that in the past, and so I don't even like to mess with that anymore. But cPanel, you can do redirects right from there. Okay. As far as domain registrars, I'm not sure if Interpages, because I don't really use domain registrar redirects unless it's literally just because I'm trying to like use a mass domain for something or another. So you mentioned, I'm going to answer the next one too. You mentioned previously that you're not a fan of using age expired domains as 301 redirects unless its content and or links are related to the money site niche. But even if it is related, with the 301 redirect provides significant benefit if it has, even if it is, or is the benefit so small that it pretty much a waste? No, there is still benefit to it, guys. I just don't do it because there's diminishing returns. That is less effective now than it has been in the past. We used to just crush rankings doing nothing other than finding old spammed Chinese domains. Like literally, I used to go.
Remember those with thousands of subdomains?
Yeah.
And we just launder the link juice.
It was crazy. It was so unfair. Yeah. I would go look at expireddomains.net, and I would go to the closeout tab, which would be like you could pick up domains that went through auction and never got picked up. And so they were basically like dropped or closed out or whatever. And you could get them for like sometimes $5 or $8. And like, I would find stuff that was like spammed to death, and it would be tens of thousands of subdomains on Chinese like domains. And then I would pick them up and then just do the exact thing you were just asking about question 1, Gordon, which was do a wildcard subdomain redirect. And it was an HT-access directive, but it would actually take all the subdomains and basically funnel them all up to the root, which then was redirected. And we would do, you know, what we called a double 301 redirect, but we called it link laundering, and it was absolutely fabulous. That's when domain authority stacking was like all you needed to do to rank. And it was crazy because I would take a brand new domain that I just registered, 0 domain authority, and within 1 Moz cycle refresh where they would update metrics, I could pump it to 42, 45 domain authority. Like, it's absolutely insane. But, you know, that kind of stuff doesn't really work so much anymore. If it's really relevant, it will help a lot. But if you're just trying to manipulate metrics, I found that that really doesn't help unless you have an incredibly powerful domain. It's more about relevancy now than it is just about metrics. I can tell you that from our testing anyways. All right. So again, I wouldn't recommend that. There's so many other ways that you can get better results than just buying 301 redirects. If you can find a real, domains to 301 redirect, if you can find a really good domain that's topically relevant, that has good metrics, then yeah, you could do it. But I still recommend that you don't point directly to your money site. You know, if you're going to do like 1 redirect, that's fine. But when you start doing multiple redirects to a money site, that starts to look, you know, a bit suspicious. And so I don't recommend that. If you're going to be doing that, then set up like a simple HTML page that you can host on an Amazon S3 bucket and just have 1 external link within the content. So it's a contextual link, and then you point your 301 redirects to that HTML page, because then you can inject relevancy, keyword relevancy right there on that page, and you only have 1 external link, and you're benefiting kind of link laundering through the Amazon domain. If that makes sense, right? So you're protecting your money site that way. All right. Good question, though. Last one, and we got to wrap that one up. Sorry, I do want to finish it out, though. You mentioned previously that if we were setting up individual city pages for local lead gen site using inner pages of the same domain, that is vital that we not use 100% duplicate content and change the address and phone number. Do you have any suggestion as to the maximum percentage of the content Google would determine to be the same that we can get away with, so we don't have to create 100% unique content for each city? You know, again, if I'm doing locations pages within the same domain, so if they're inner pages instead of like on subdomains, then I highly recommend that you keep it as unique as possible. So take your original article that you have for location number 1 and go hire some rewrites, right? You can hire from various content farms to have it rewritten so that you get unique versions of it, and it's less expensive than buying new articles. Okay. That's what I recommend you do. However, I know we even had this discussion in our mastermind in a thread just within the last week, and we've got people in there that are talking about how all they do is change up the location data, and they might vary the first paragraph a bit, and they're still getting away with it. Have at that. If you want to attempt that, Gordon, feel free to do so. I don't recommend it, because at some point that could end up being something that you end up getting slapped for. And so I've always kept my content unique. If it's location pages on the same domain, like inner pages, I mean, as opposed to subdomains. Even on subdomains, I don't use the same content over and over again unless it's rewritten, because I've just always been really paranoid about, I hate losing assets that I've put work into. I hate it. That's why I don't do the churn and burn strategy anymore. Okay. Because I don't like doing rework. When I build something, I want it to produce revenue for a long time to come. So that's why I say take the time and the additional effort up front. Because at some point, if you try to take shortcuts, it's probably going to burn you, and then you're going to be pissed, and you're going to have lost all that effort, right? But again, if you want to try to get away with it, feel free to do so. I would say if you're changing the location data and varying the first paragraph a bit, maybe the closing paragraph a bit as well, you can probably get away with it. I don't recommend it, though. James, you mentioned in episode 159, well, that was like 20 episodes ago, that you've been playing with curated event websites. Okay. Sites that you are using somewhat as a PBN, just have local events being published from curated sources. Are you using RSS feeds to pull these events in? If so, would you mind sharing the plugin that you're using? Thanks for all you guys add to the SEO world. Okay, there is, damn. Give me 1 second. It's a plugin that you can buy. It's really inexpensive too. Let me see if I can find it real quick, so I can tell you the name. I don't know the name of it off the top of my head. It might be this one. No, that's not it. Shit, I'm going to make a note of this. Here, I think it's in here actually. Related RSS. That's it. This is one of them right here. It's called Related RSS. It's a plugin by WP Unite. So go do a Google search on that, guys. The one I have, you can see that I downloaded this in 2014. So it's, 4 years old. April of 2014. I know you probably can't see it on your end, guys, but April of 2014. So it's about 4 years old. I'm pretty sure that they still sell it. It was part of a bundle at the time, but it was inexpensive and it works really well for like adding like local news RSS feeds and stuff. You can add to a widget in your sidebar or your footer. I think you can also add like a short code so that it will actually inject news content from Google News, Bing News, Yahoo News, and things like that directly in. And you could set like keywords, all kinds of really cool stuff to help inject content. That's coming from news sites, and that's again called Related RSS by WP Unite. Go check that out. Also, there are some Twitter recipes, applets that you can set up with IFTTT that works really well for that, which is what I've been doing is for a lot of those sites that I'm talking about, because then you can set up topical search. Like you can have Twitter applets that will will basically post tweets that contain certain search terms that you set with your filtering, right? So you can set up topical tweets that will inject topical relevancy automatically via applet, IFTTT applet into your blog, as well as set up local. And that's where I found it to be really powerful is you can set up, do local search terms in the tweet setting or the applet settings. And you can just play around with Twitter's advanced search to try to find the correct search query, right? The search string. And once you do that, then it's just basically automated. And those same type of local and topical tweet recipes or applets, I keep calling them recipes, old habits die hard, but the tweet applets can also be applied to Google Plus pages, which I know Google Plus is kind of a ghost town, guys, but it's still part of the overall Google ecosystem. So it's very it's relevant. And that stuff's been covered, James, inside of Syndication Academy. So if you're a member of Syndication Academy, go back and look at some of the update webinars, the replays, and you'll see where I talk about that.
I'd like to add a WordPress plugin to the mix. It's called WP RSS Aggregator. It's free, and it works really, really well, man.
Awesome. I should make a note of that.
WP RSS Aggregator. I'll just drop the WordPress link into the...
Okay, good. I'd like to see that. Okay, next, Jackie Lombardi. What's up, Jackie? I actually answered this for him on Facebook already, but I asked him to post this over here so that everybody else could benefit. I'm going to give away some pretty good information here, but I want to do it anyway. So this is something that I've talked about before. That's why I don't mind sharing it here again. But he was asking me specifically about how to rank Yelp listings in Google because they used to rank incredibly well. They still rank well for me, but what I found now is that it's actually the index page that will rank now, that like the category or index page for a particular, like if you're looking for tree services plus city, for example, a lot of the times the Yelp index page for tree service companies or contractors in that city will rank. And so what I've been able to do is actually rank the Yelp listings at the top of the index page. And that still ends up counting as like a citation, by the way, in or as a rank, a third-party mention if you're using Bright Local. Even if it's an index page, if you're listed at the top of the index page, it'll show up as like as a rank position. But let me just get through what I'm trying to say here with this. He said that he's had some difficulties recently with ranking what used to be really easy, ranking individual pages, and so he was asking me about some of the tricks, and so I told him I would share some of them. So, for example, let's just look at. Let me see, what should I look at here? I'm trying to think of something that I can pull up. All right, we'll look at, well, here, we'll just find one. How about that? Let's look for plumber. Manassas, VA, that's fine. I used to have a plumbing client, Manassas. I don't anymore. All right, so let's just go find one. So these are the organic results here. Look at this guy, 274 reviews, 310 reviews. Good for them. Wow. They know what they're doing. All right, so let's go to Monticello Pump Services and position number 3. I'm just going to open this up. Guys, this is where, like, there are so many spam opportunities on Yelp pages. And that's primarily how I've ranked them. Oh, this was the other thing I was going to say that I was telling Jackie I've noticed is that Yelp responds really well to engagement signals. And that's why if you get a lot of reviews on Yelp, people are visiting the Yelp listing in order to leave reviews from local IPs, which is a huge ranking signal, guys. Like, engagement signals are like the #1 ranking signal anymore, right? So the old school spamming stuff to death will still help. But if you can get some engagement to your Yelp listing, even if it's Yelp listings will even respond well to CT spam, guys, click-through spam. So you can even use, CT spam bots or services to Yelp listings and get some effect. I think you can. I haven't tested sending like YouTube ad traffic to a Yelp listing. I'm not sure, 100% sure that you can. I think you can, but that would work too. That's how I'm doing most of my CT spam now, guys, or sending traffic is through YouTube ads because it's so inexpensive. I'm sending traffic to stuff in order to help it rank better just by sending traffic, right, with local IPs. I talk about doing that for videos, but it also works for web properties, especially stuff like Yelp that responds really well to engagement signals. Okay. But you can also test like Fiverr traffic gigs, which I would never do to a money site. But I talk about these in Local PR Pro, which again is being launched next Wednesday. But the Fiverr traffic gigs that I've used for press releases absolutely help press releases rank, and ranked press releases stick. And so Fiverr traffic gigs should absolutely work well for Yelp listings because Yelp is such a high authority domain that it can withstand like any amount of spam that you throw at it, including spam views or traffic. But this is at least relevant and targeted traffic, like somewhat relevant and targeted traffic. And what I mean by that, let me just show you, and then I'll get back to the Yelp listing. I'm giving away a lot today. You guys, damn it. All right, let me show you something here for a minute. Actually, I think it's over here. Yeah, because I just pulled this up for him. These are the two traffic gigs that I use, guys, for press releases and stuff. I use this one more than the other one that I'm going to share with you. I'll drop the links here for you. But this is one of them that I use for press releases all the time. And again, I was telling Jackie the other day that this is a good, this would be a good service to test for. I use the $15 one just to let you know. So it's 1,000 visitors a day for 15 days. You actually, you can, as part of the upgrade, you can select search traffic or traffic from Google, from Bing. It's really cool. And this is, I mean, it works really well for press releases. This is like one of my secret, my tricks up my sleeve for being able to get press releases to rank or to stick. Because a lot of times you guys know press releases will rank well, but then they start to slip. Well, this is one of the ways that you can prevent press releases from slipping in the SERPs is by sending traffic to it. Okay. And this is one of the ways that I do it. So here's the other traffic gig, and I'll drop these links and then I'll get back to the Yelp page. And again, I've used both of these quite extensively, so I can vouch for them being good services. Again, guys, do not send traffic to your money site from these. Okay. This is only for what I'm talking about. So those are the traffic gigs. All right, so let's go back over here for a minute. So let me show you all the spam opportunities on here, guys, because I don't think I've talked about a couple of them. But first of all, you got your URL up here, right? So this would be number one. Let's go ahead. I don't know what that's identifying string is at the end there. So there you go. That's obviously everybody knows that you can link to that, build links to that. But that's only one of literally dozens, even potentially hundreds of links that you could link to spam link to. All right. So just here's one thing. Copy that URL, put it in a spreadsheet or a text, notepad file. All right. Then click on each image. Each image, guys, is another unique URL, right? You guys see up here. Oops, excuse me. Let me go back. Up here in the address bar, that's a unique URL. That will pump, as you build links to it, will actually pump up this entire listing, right? So click to the next image, another unique URL. Another image, right? I guess they only, it looked like two images the exact same. Another one. So just go collect every single image URL that's available on the page, right? And start and add that to your list that you're going to spam. Like, I mean, kitchen sink spam it. Like, throw the nastiest stuff at it that you can. It's fine. It doesn't matter. It's Yelp. Okay. So anyways, each one of those are individual URLs that you can rank, or excuse me, build links to. How about this? Go to view page source. Now I want you to see something about this. We're going to scroll down a little bit. Guys, right here, this is gold. This is gold right here, okay? Let me zoom in if I can. Okay, so this right here, oops, I went way too much. Let me back down one. Right here, guys, these are canonical links for all the different country domains, right? Every one of those URLs there, guys, are canonicalized to the root, or to the listing URL, this listing URL, okay? So every one of those is another spam point. You guys see that? Now, something else, all the images that you just grabbed the unique URLs from, every one of them go through a CDN. Every one of them has a unique CDN URL, yelpcdn.com. Every one of those can be copied and added to your spam list. And you can actually inject through the CDN URLs power into the listing. That's something I've never talked about before. Okay, so those, the mobile Yelp URLs, those are also URLs you can spam. My point is, guys, go through here and collect everything that you can find on the page, both the public page and the view page source, and add them to your list. Now, one last one, super powerful strategy. I'm not going to go through the entire strategy here, guys. It wouldn't be fair to our paying members, but I will share just a very, very small portion of it. Each one of these reviews, guys, see this share review? Open that up, guys. That's another URL right there that you can pump, right? That's feeding into this overall listing, and every single review is another spam point. Now, there's a lot of other stuff you can do with these reviews that I'm not going to discuss here. You have to come join one of our paid programs to get that. But there's some really good strategies you can do with some Yelp stuff that works really, really well. Okay? So there you go. As far as the rest of that question, I know he asked briefly about, let's see, where is it? Anchor text profile. So I mentioned this to him. Because it's Yelp, you can get away with a lot. But typically what I do is I do a lot of brand anchors and URL anchors. So you know, naked URLs. And then broad or market level terms. What I mean by that is I do a mix of exact match, but I do more partial match and broad, like market level, because what I'm trying to do is I don't want to hit it with a ton of exact match. Like, you know, what I mean by that is like, you know, service plus city. I don't like to do that for like Yelp listing. I mean, there are certainly some there, but the vast majority of the anchor text profile, and again, my link builder just does all this for me. So I don't know what his exact ratios are, but I know that it's a lot of brand terms and naked URLs and in market level. So that's like services or product level keywords instead of with the geo modifier. There is some of that, but not nearly as much as the overall percentage of brand, naked URLs, and market level terms. If that makes sense. All right. All right. Unfortunately, we're going to have to wrap it up. I can stay for just a couple minutes beyond. So let's see if we can get through up past Jeff Sass.
I can stay a bit more. I'm good.
Okay, cool. Because I saw Jeff's question earlier, and I want to make sure I get that answered, guys. All right. Anyways, let's keep moving. So Fabian's up. Fabian says, "Hey guys, my current status over the past 3 years, I've built up more and more affiliate niche sites and successfully ranked them less than 20 pieces, or I'm sorry, greater than 20 pieces in the top 10, and they still do great. All white hat with partly still self-written texts, lots of content. Now I notice that several projects are thematically very similar, and therefore normally a backlink or link exchange would be suitable. But of course, I have my personal footprint on all these pages, and Google knows that they all belong to me. However, there are many more projects coming this year that could well fit in with the previous ones. The projects are really life and, of course, generate or real life, I guess, and of course, generate real traffic. Why? I'd like to use my previous projects and future ones as a real and clean private blog network, or at least a bigger part of it, but only for my own websites. My question, am I right that I have to hide my footprint with BrowSEO with the same proxy plus natural footprint for each account so that the link power is maintained, or that the trust isn't lost for the next niche sites? I simply want to find a long-term strategy, but I know whether or not this approach is worthwhile. But of course, it would be cool to create hammer links without doing a lot of outreach. All the projects each get an IFTTT syndication network, so I don't want to shoot this number up of projects and maybe have to be really careful. Okay, so Fabian, you know, I've got some mixed feelings about that, because, like, for example, you know, I know if they're, you don't want to create a footprint, that's for sure. However, like, for example, I was talking earlier, I got a lead gen well, I don't know if I've said it on this webinar. I was talking to somebody earlier today anyways. I've got a lead gen client that, or, you know, service provider that has 14 locations. And I went in and just randomly linked between each one of those location sites, you know, in the footer, like basically a footer link. So like, you know, site 1 links to site 7 and site 2 links to site 3 or 4, you know what I mean? Like, so it's all random, but it's basically like a link network from all the same domain, same brand. And actually that really helped. I got a pretty nice boost in several of the locations because of that, but they're all the same brand. So I don't know that that's so much of a footprint. I did it anyways. It was kind of a test, and it's been that way for about a year now. And it really actually did help quite a bit. But as far as like between different websites, I wouldn't want to do linking between them, because you would absolutely leave a footprint unless they were like you mentioned, on different IPs and all that kind of stuff. So that's something I would recommend. If you have sites already that are all like on the same host and stuff like that, and you want to start interlinking them, then I would recommend that you, you know, maybe change hosting and stuff like that. But again, if Google's all aware, they're all connected to you via your brand or your profile or something like that, then I might steer away from that entirely, because again, you don't want to create an issue if you've got all these sites that are ranking. However, what you could do is use them as more of like a random linking pattern, random linking pattern. That's an oxymoron, right? A random pattern. So, but you could do random linking to like tier 1 properties and tier 2 properties instead of directly to money sites. That might be a good way that you could do it, because that way you could like essentially diversify what they're linking to. So it's not like, you know, one website from one IP, from the same IP linking to another one. You could actually be linking to tier 1 properties like syndication network properties, for example, or press releases. Keep in mind, press releases often purge, but you could link to those. You could also link to, you know, Drive Stack files. So you already mentioned syndication network stuff. You could link to individual blog posts. Think about that. If you're blogging with syndication networks that gets syndicated out to a tier, you know, a branded network for that particular site, you can go extract the post URL from the Web 2 sites within that network that has a link that's pointing back to your money site, and you could link to that post URL. Does that make sense? So my point is, you know, you'd have to come up with some sort of, I'd be very careful doing it, because if you've got money producing assets or traffic producing assets, obviously probably generating money too, I would be very careful in trying to extract, you know, squeeze juice out of them for other properties, because you could end up tanking everything, right? So I'd just be real careful about it. You know, either start building out some new sites that you can use, like something that, guys, I talk about not using PBNs anymore in the old traditional sense, but I'm actually about ready to set up another network of sites right now to do some testing, but they're going to be more like media sites for more driving traffic than back. I'm going to be doing some backlinking with them, but it's more about traffic production than it is about backlinking. And so I might discuss that a little bit more once my testing's done.
Yeah, but that's not really a PBN.
Yeah.
Because you're doing your own stuff. You're not selling links to other people. You're not advertising to Google what you're doing. And so you should be able to stay relatively safe as long as you keep it this way. It's when you start advertising and selling links into your network that you create a public blog network, or it's no longer private, right? Because it's public, you advertise, you sell links, Google knows, and that's when you get taken down. But as long as you do it this way, where you're providing links for your own stuff, and it seems like you're doing content, you're active, it's getting traffic, so it's getting all the right signals, you should be okay.
Yeah. Yep, I would agree. Okay, so let's see. I'm going to answer Jenny's and then Jeff's, guys, and I'm going to wrap it up. I'm sorry for everybody above. Unfortunately, we ran out of time. Jenny says, hey, Semantics, happy hump day. Hope all is well. RYS Stack question. Ordering RYS Stack for lead. Oh, were we? No, we weren't. Never mind. I was going to ask about the black book or the user's guide, but that's not ready for us to release today, right? When did we say we're going to do that?
Not today. As soon as it gets what do you call it? Let me see.
I know we talked about it yesterday. I just don't remember.
Yeah, go ahead and answer the question, and I'll get an answer back.
Okay, ordering RYS Stack for lead gen site homepage today. Okay, the site covers about 7 cities. I am ordering package 2, Drive Setup plus Google site. Okay, that's typically the one that I always get. Planning on waiting for a few weeks, and then if needed, ordering package 3, RYS Google Drive Setup. for landing pages. Okay, got you. Okay, so what you're saying is doing the Drive setup plus Google site for the root, and then for each individual location page, you might have just a separate Drive setup. So those would just be like the Drive folders and files. I get that. That makes sense. Am I correct in thinking that I do not need to order package 2 with the G site for every city landing page? No, you don't. There's more. There's reasons to do that, but you could actually just use the original G site from the main stack, your primary stack, and create inner pages to mirror what you've got for each of your location pages. That's called theme mirroring. And that works really well too. And what I like about that is then you can really boost the, you can really, because you've got, you're funneling all of your SEO activity in the one G site, that one G site can become incredibly strong, as opposed to having multiple G sites, right? Where each G site is really relevant to its specific location, but it's not as powerful as a cumulative effect that you have on one G site with, theme mirrored or mirrored internal pages or location pages, if that makes sense. And also, Jenny, if you're in, which I'm almost 100% certain you're in Syndication Academy, go back to last month's update webinar where I talked about the local iframe loop and apply that to what you're talking about, because that includes that's part of the G site stuff. And do each, like if you're going to do the same G site with inner pages for your location pages, right? You add that local iframe loop training to each one of those local pages on the G site, and it's freaking powerful. That's part of the reason why my lead gen sites are just crushing it right now. So that was a really, really good tip that I shared last month. It works really good for locals, so check it out. All right. I'm planning to add these city landing pages URLs to the original. Yep, that's exactly what I would do. Same for Yelp, Facebook, etc. Assuming there's no need for 20 G sites in the same business. Thank you, Connie. Yep, that's a good strategy, man. That's what I would do. Save yourself some work and some expense, right? Not that I don't want you to go buy more G sites. I do, but I want you to get the best results with the least amount of effort and money, right? Okay. Jeff, last one. He says, guys, you've commented in the past about how you use Peter Drew's G site creator for generating links. Yep. Have you had a chance to use Map Creator? I have. I'm a beta tester of that. And so obviously I got Twitter deep linking software too. I got to be honest with you guys. I'm not a Twitter fan. I know it's really powerful for stuff, and I'm not saying I'm not going to use it. I just haven't had time to play with it. And part of the reason why is because I went through and looked at the video about how it works and stuff. My only concern, and I meant to talk to Marco about it, but I haven't, because Marco's the one that knows a hell of a lot more about Twitter. But my concern was, like, I know that Twitter accounts are sandboxed until you get them out of the sandbox. And so I don't have a whole bunch of Twitter accounts out of the sandbox that I could add into the system to do these daisy chain links of, tweets and moments and all that stuff that I saw from the video. And so I was thinking about buying aged phone verified Twitter accounts, but that doesn't mean that they're out of the sandbox. And so I actually started to go buy a bunch of Twitter accounts that I was going to add into that Twitter deep linking software to test this with. But I again, I haven't had the time, number one. Number two, I was going to talk to Marco about it to say, would it be worth it if they're not out of the sandbox? And I don't know that yet. Maybe if I get into the beta tester thread where other people are testing, they can answer that for me. I just haven't had the time to do it. But I have played with the Map Creator software. I like it. I was having trouble indexing the maps, but I do like it. It's super simple and it's really cool. I love the fact that Peter Drew's tools now have just a really simple interface. He took all like even Hangout Millionaire, he simplified like considerably, and that's why I like it. Simple is good. Okay. Eventually, when I do play with that, I will, I can certainly update you guys on it, but I am definitely playing with the Maps Creator software, and I need to play with the Twitter stuff. I just haven't had a chance to do it, and I'm likely not going to get a chance to play with that anytime soon. I'm a bit overwhelmed at the moment. So lastly, he says, BB, Peter Wilson is a ride to talk to, plus his press releases are awesome. Yeah, he is. He's a good guy. So, all right, guys, we got to wrap it up.
Short answer to Ralph's question. If you're getting tons of visitors and they're staying on the website, site speed doesn't matter. If you're getting tons of visitors and they're all bouncing, definitely does matter.
Yeah.
I mean, that's simple. And thanks, guys.
It's probably also pay attention, especially to mobile metrics, right? Because that's typically where like you'll see the bounce rate a lot if the mobile site is loading slow, like the mobile version of the site. So pay attention to that if you can. Okay. Awesome. All right. Well, thanks everybody. It looks like we got almost all the questions. Shit, there's only a couple questions left. I'll stay. Come on. Quit this out. Good afternoon, gents. If you post a curated post to Facebook and you want to syndicate it from Facebook, how do you also syndicate the attribution? Don't know. If you post a curated post to Facebook and you want to syndicate it from Facebook, how do you also syndicate the attribution? I'm not sure.
You would set it up in IFTTT.
Yeah, you probably can.
Set it up in the applet. You would code it into the applet. So if Facebook then posts out to wherever it's going with the attribution inside the wherever it is that you can add the.
You're right. Yeah. You should be able to manually, like, so if you're using Facebook as the trigger and it's going to post to say Blogger, for example, in the action step, which is where you add in the ingredients and all that stuff, in the body section of it, you can add in, an attribution and then select from the ingredients. It should give you the little short code or the token or whatever that of the Facebook post. You're talking about the original attribution. That's a good question. You probably can't, but I don't know why you would bother because the attribution link would be pointing to Facebook, and then the Facebook post would actually contain the attribution links back to the original content source. Yeah, that's a bit tricky. I haven't played with that. You know what? We've got a Syndication Academy webinar coming up, update webinar. I'm going to make a note of that on my whiteboard, which is where I keep my ideas for update webinars. I'm going to make a note to look into that. Okay. Do that right now. Facebook attribution post. I'll take a look at that. We've got, it's not going to be this week, but I think next week is when we're going to have the next update webinar. I've got to get it done before the end of the month anyway. So it's likely that we're going to have the update webinar next Tuesday, guys, at 5 p.m. So I'll take a look at that and see what I can figure out for you. All right. All right. Almost last. Tom says, no question. Just want to say thank you once again for spending Wednesdays with us. Love this sessions. Never missed. And that's awesome, Tom. Thank you. Brian says, I know you are going away from Web 2s and just doing art. No, I'm still doing Web 2 stuff. I mean, it's part of syndication networks, but I still use FCS Networker and Tier 2 and finding it being a bit problematic. You recommend RankWiz at one point. Do you have an affiliate link that I can use to support you guys with? Oh, that's awesome, Brian. Yeah, we do. I'll post it on there, or if Marco can find it, I'll post it on the page in just a few moments. But we do. And RankWiz is a good tool. It's a bit of a learning curve. I don't use any spam tools, guys. I just don't do it, or any of those like, Web 2. I don't do it. I hired Dedia, my link building manager, like 5 or 6 years ago now. And he's been doing it for me ever since, because I just didn't enjoy doing that kind of work. I didn't like playing with those tools and all that, but he's a freaking ninja. And so, RankWiz is a good tool. It's just, there's a big learning curve. Okay. And Pavel, he knows what he's doing. Like, that guy's got he's got all those other cool tools now, like SiteWiz, like for building like PBNs and, Web 2 networks and stuff as well. As also, he's got like a video tool out now that, so he's got all these really cool tools, and the guy knows his stuff. He's a good guy. So I'll try to grab a link and drop it on the page for you, Brian, in just a moment. Let's see. Last thing is Josh. He says, hi there. Can you please talk about SERP space and pricing? Cheers. I don't know what to say about it, Josh, other than just go to serpspace.com and take a look at it. There's really no reason for me to go through all the stuff that you can find out on your own. Just go to serpspace.com and take a look at it.
It's a credit-based system. So what you buy is credit, and you could do anything you want with your credits. Yeah.
Well, there's credits for some stuff right now, but other stuff, it's an actual individual purchase. But we're working on switching over to an all credit-based system. That's not going to be ready for a couple months, but eventually we're going to be on an all credit based system. So you can come in and just purchase like a monthly subscription to a certain level of credits, and then you can use those credits to purchase any service in the inside of SerpSpace at all. But again, that's going to be a couple months before that's available. So, all right, sweet. We got through all of them with only additional 15 minutes. So thanks everybody for being here. We'll see everybody mastermind webinar tomorrow, and we're in the prospecting module, and I've spent the last 2 weeks building out another funnel. I got some choppy video. I spent the last 2 weeks building out a funnel that can be used for all different entry points. So those of you that are in mastermind, wait till tomorrow. I'm going to go over, like, I still don't have it 100% complete. I spent 2 weeks working on this. It's not 100%, but it's close. And what I'm going to do is break down on a high level what the funnel is, all the pieces, all the integrations, because it's been a lot of work. And then I'm going to start recording a second build. I'm going to duplicate the build, and I'm going to record videos and a process doc of how I built the entire thing with all the integrations, all the pieces, everything. And I'm going to add that to the members area for the prospecting module training. So you guys will get that. So tomorrow, be on the mastermind webinar. You guys will see it. It's freaking awesome. I'm really proud of this. So I'll share it with you guys tomorrow. See y'all then. Thanks, Marco, for hanging out, man.
Bye, everyone.